Hi guys, JT here, and today we're bringing you some information on Fanatical's Fight, Shoot, Survive bundle of June 2023. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? If you find this video helpful, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1 we have Dead Island, Riptide Definitive Edition, a survival horror game. The game is set on the island of Palanai, which has been overrun by a zombie outbreak, and players must fight to survive and find a way off the island. The game features a number of improvements over the original Dead Island, including updated graphics, new gameplay mechanics, and improved AI for the game's enemies. Players can choose to play as one of the several different characters, each of their own unique abilities and skill trees. One of the game's standout features is its focus on cooperative multiplayer, allowing players to team up with friends to murder hordes of zombies and complete missions together. The game also includes a new hub area, where players can upgrade their weapons and gear between missions. While the game's storyline is fairly straightforward, the real appeal of Dead Island Riptide Definitive Edition lies in its satisfying and visceral combat mechanics. Players can murder zombies using a variety of weapons, from guns and knives to makeshift weapons like pipes and bats. Overall, Dead Island Riptide Definitive Edition is a solid survival horror game with engaging combat mechanics and a focus on cooperative multiplayer. While it may not be a revolutionary game in the genre, it is definitely worth checking out for fans of zombie games or anyone looking for a fun and challenging co-op experience. And number 2 we have Golden Light, a very weird FPS horror game. You play an alcoholic writer and you have a girlfriend named She, and she has been kidnapped by a hand that came out of the ground. Now you must jump into this hole in the ground called the Gut to collect pieces of her meat and save her. Yeah, this game is weird, but it does also sound like the plot of Resident Evil Village. When you're in the hole, you must abide by the most important rule: nothing makes sense. Items around you could be a monster, traps are littered around the floor without clear indications that they are traps, and even the consumables are out for experimentation. You won't know what items you pick up will do until you use them. This confusion is also what makes this game so interesting to play through, because you're always guessing as to what is coming next. Will a computer screen suddenly turn into a grotesque monster and start chasing you, or is it just another computer screen? The goal is less confusing, as the core gameplay is straightforward in each level. Explore each floor of the Gut, locate keys, and unlock the next floor with said keys until you recover She's missing body parts. Picking up the last key needed to unlock the elevator will sometimes create a frenzy in the entire level. Bosses are also present in this game, but they can feel like damage sponges. They're also massive in size, so massive that they simply graphically clip into you as they attack. You don't need to actually fight them though. All you have to do is stay alive, grab the keys, and get to the elevator. In the Eternal Field, you can find characters, bonuses, and new biomes, if you take the time to explore it. Just be careful of those dreadful mushroom people. This game will have you second guessing yourself throughout your time with it, and with the lack of information to chew on, it creates a very unsettling yet intriguing experience. And number 3 we have BPM, Bullets Per Minute, a game that combines elements of roguelike, rhythm, and first-person shooter games. Developed and published by All Interactive, it offers a unique gameplay experience. The game's main hook revolves around syncing the actions of firing and reloading weapons with a synth-tinged rock soundtrack. Acting in time with the beat is crucial, as shooting or reloading off-beat can lead to consequences such as gun jams and failed reload attempts. Enemy attacks are also tied to the music, creating a constant dance between the player and the monsters. While the rhythm mechanic initially provides satisfying moments, the game's influence from Doom becomes apparent as the player progresses. Constant movement and cramped rooms filled with enemies require the player to adapt to 2 different rhythms simultaneously, which can be disorienting and challenging. However, the game offers an auto rhythm option that frees the weapons from the soundtrack, allowing players to focus solely on the Doom-like rhythm and enjoy the experience to a greater extent. BPM incorporates roguelike elements, but it lacks permanent advantages between runs. Coins can be used to increase stats and purchase weapons and items, but the distribution of these resources feels chaotic and unbalanced. Similarly, dungeon variations and challenging enemy variations can sometimes feel unfair when encountered unexpectedly. Despite its flaws, BPM has enjoyable aspects detached from the central rhythm mechanic. The game offers rock-infused fun, although players may need to invest time to discover and appreciate these aspects. Ultimately, BPM Bullets Per Minute is a promising concept that stumbles in its execution, but finds redemption when breaking its own rules. And number 4 we have Hands of Necromancy, a retro-style first-person shooter that draws inspiration from games like Heretic and Hexen, but manages to establish its own unique identity. The game features 3 chapters with 21 maps spread across them, creating a Metroid-like experience with interconnected hubs and portals to explore. The combat is fast-paced and combines ranged and close-up attacks, offering a variety of weapons such as swords, fireballs, whirlwind spells, ice wands, scythes, and guns as you progress. The enemy variety is impressive with a mix of creepy crawlies, magic-wielding wizards, bats, and golems, leading to intense and colorful battles. The game's 2.5D graphics, built on the GZ Doom engine, showcase beautiful lighting and fantastic pixel art creature designs. While the environments can be a bit gloomy, they are detailed and offer interesting locations to explore, including underground chambers, crypts, and puzzle-filled towns. One of the standout features of Hands of Necromancy is the ability to transform into various enemy types, which adds a unique twist to both combat and puzzle solving. As you progress, you gain the power to turn into creatures like snakes, golems, and horned devils, providing different gameplay approaches. The game offers substantial playtime, estimated at around 7 hours, with the potential for even longer if you thoroughly explore and search for secrets. The level design is top-notch, and the experience feels reminiscent of classic fantasy shooters from the mid-90s. Hands of Necromancy is a worthy addition to the genre, and showcases the talent of the developers. And number 5 we have The Citadel, a Japanese retro FPS game. You play as the martyr. It is the future, the world has stopped turning, and is in ruins. Many humans have turned to mechanizing their bodies to prolong their life. The humans were on the brink of extinction when a race calling themselves the Angels rose up and promised to save humanity. However, they are no angels, and their creations are now out of control, driving the fake angels and humans insane. You're one of the only non-mechanized humans left in existence, and you're tasked to fix this mess. You start in the hub area to contain some tutorial information and a few NPCs to talk to. Essentially, you'll need to complete each mission or act to finish the game. The first act you play is mandatory, but the rest can be approached in any order. Each act consists of 4 main levels and a boss stage. You'll be working your way through maze-like stages, collecting keys, and defeating bosses in main levels, while the boss stage is a straightforward arena. The level design is the best part of the game, as it demands that you explore each of them thoroughly to determine how to proceed, and there's never just a straightforward path to follow. There's a good variety of enemies for you to murder, and they aren't a cakewalk, as it doesn't take much time for the enemy to murder you. Weapons are very satisfying to use, with several of them featuring alternative firing modes. Different weapons work best against certain enemies, so you have to think on your feet when it comes to combat. Bosses are bullet hell affairs, having you nimbly dodge attack patterns while unleashing your own hell. Rather than just looking after your health, you also have to look after your oxygen, which determines the sprint time, and food, which determines the max level of health and oxygen. There's also a ton of gore in this. Blasting an enemy shatters them into a shower of blood and internal body parts. It is common to see somebody's intestines just lying on the floor upon defeat. While this game could use some more textures in its environments, it has amazing level designs, interesting encounters, and mechanics that makes it fun, engaging, and a highly memorable experience, and I would highly recommend picking this up. And number 6 we have Survive the Nights, an early access FPS survival game set in a post-zombie infestation world. It provides a challenging experience focused on teamwork, fortification, creativity, and strategy. Your goal is to survive the dangers of a realistic environment by preparing for nightfall and fending off infected and other players. With a day and night cycle, dynamic weather, and detailed locations like abandoned towns and forests, the game immerses you in its world. Hunger, thirst, and fatigue management are crucial for survival, adding to a realism and difficulty. A standout feature is the emphasis on fortification. You can secure existing structures, fortify them with barricades, traps, and locks, and use them as defensive positions. With a range of options available, you can tailor your defenses to match your strategies. The Structure Manager adds depth, allowing you to clean, paint, repair, and modify furniture in structures. Survive the Nights encourages teamwork and collaboration. You can form alliances, create private parties, and face challenges together. Surviving becomes more manageable with friends, as the game's difficulty scales with the number of hordes survived. A grouping system and community missions foster cooperation among players. The game offers various gameplay mechanics, including realistic food and drink management, crafting, fuel consumption, vehicles, and a mental health system, discouraging a kill-on-sight mentality. As an early access game, Survive the Nights is continuously evolving based on community feedback. Regular updates, dev blogs, and changelogs keep players informed about progress. The developers have outlined their future goals, including expanding features, adding content, and refining gameplay. While reviews have been mixed, it's important to remember that Survive the Nights is still in development. The current state offers enjoyable and challenging gameplay, with further improvements planned. If you seek a unique FPS survival experience with a focus on teamwork, fortification, and strategy, Survive the Nights is worth considering. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is alright. Most of these games were already available in previous bundles, except maybe Hands of Necromancy. So you probably already have some of these games in your library. In any case, kindly show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel, and look forward to connecting with you in the upcoming video.